So what are the terms of that $50,000? It's not just a gift, I don't assume.
No, I think you have to have made, you have to be in a long-term lease or have access to land. It's not a lease, and you go through a process of business planning, and you're committed to farming once you have that grant. I'm not sure of the details.
But it is a grant. It's not a
It's a grant.
loan.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a grant, and it motivates young people to get into farming because they realize they can do it. Whereas here, also in Quebec, there's a law about not being on farmland if you're not actively farming it. So when people retire, they sell their farm. And I would love to see that here. We have this agricultural land reserve, but it means nothing because it's all inhabited by people who aren't farming it.
And
get those people off. Get those people off that land. You should not be on farmland unless you're going to farm it. And that way, farmland stays affordable. So that's how it is in Quebec, where if you retire, you're off the land, and then somebody can come in and start farming, and all the infrastructure is ready. When Francis bought that land, it was a turnkey operation. The barns were all ready to go. The fencing wasn't all fallen down like it is here because the farm was farmed 30 years ago, and then all the equipment. The farmers, if they don't have kids going into farming, well, it's not worth that much. So you can see it goes with the farm, and there's and then the community stays intact too, right? Whereas here, there's so many big tracts of land that don't have the associated farming services with them. So then, the infrastructure erodes for everybody, and so we just don't have that tight community that could be there if farmland had to be in the hands of farmers.
So I was going to ask you about the ALR, and that sounds like one way that the provincial government could, if it had a vision about food sovereignty, as Quebec does, that would be one way, is to look at ALR land as land that must be farmed.
By the owners.
By the owners. All right.
Wouldn't that be good?
Wouldn't that be good? And what about the Agricultural Land Commission? What's your sense of that entity? Like in some things we're looking at maybe the need for an arm's length commission to ensure that the practice of a particular industry, whether it's parks management or resource management in a local area, can be done without constant interference from government. Is there a place for the Agricultural Land Commission, and what might be that place?
When I was interviewing farmers for my master's research, people, when I asked about the Agricultural Land Reserve, they don't know the answer. Like, I would like to see strong policies put in place that just blanket what can be done on farmland. It just has to stay in farm production. Sometimes there's extenuating circumstances, and sometimes farmers take the hit for that. But it's just got to stay in farmland. One of the biggest arguments for taking it out is it's not viable anymore because there's a subdivision right next door. Well, if you take that out, it will be a subdivision too, and then the next parcel won't be viable.
Right.
So. I know that there's the Vantrite situation in central Saanich, and yes, that land possibly should come out of the ALR because it's not farmable, but that is a precedent. And I think it's sad for Ian Vantrite because there's no good reason that it doesn't come out, but it's a precedent. It's been part of the OCP. We got to just take the hit and have it in there because everybody can just, use these decisions as a pry bar to get more and more land taken out. And the vision of the ALR is just land for farming, period. I don't think a whole lot of decision making has to be made.
Yeah, there has to be some economics, reform of the economics around it, where a situation like that where there's some economic drivers behind the desire to take stuff out of ALR, and I think a lot of the stuff that's been taken out of ALR has had economic drivers.
Oh, yeah. And repercussions throughout once people hear. And it is unfair that it's all on the backs of farmers. You know, why are they not able to benefit from the high land prices when developers are? It's just not fair.
Yeah.
However, taking more out is just making it more unfair.
Right. I mean, I'm with you on that we need to find a way to keep land, to make ALR land farming. End of story, that it has to be done in farming. Do you have any questions about the Green Party or about me, or any comments that you'd like to make before we close?
I wish I'd taken more time to look through your updated platform, but a couple of years ago I was compiling. There was a group of farmers that were looking to figure out how to vote and what party we should be looking at, and it was provincially, and the Green Party didn't have a strong agricultural platform. There wasn't anything about, you know, they talked about large-scale production for export as a base driver of the economy. If you look at the platform, at least how it was, there wasn't a lot about.
No, we're very much into local food production. We're very much committed to that, to training of farmers, to having agricultural programs at colleges.
Is that right in the platform?
It's right in the platform.
Okay, I need to read it again.
So
it's come around.
Well, I don't remember that as part of the 2005 platform, but certainly in 2009 we are very much local food, very much supporting farmers, very much preserving agricultural land for farming, using whatever tax incentives we can to reinforce that. So I'm sorry that was your conclusion.
Nobody else had a good platform
well,
either.
That doesn't excuse us. I mean,
and the NDP had an agricultural platform, but when you read through the agricultural platform, it directly contradicted their main platform. So, you know, they had the word food sovereignty in their platform that got us excited, and that is a big step, right? Getting that wording into the policies. But when you look at them more in depth, government focus on GDP and having a strong agricultural export market, it just undermines everything.
Well, our policy is all about regional and local self-sufficient economies, which means local food production and use, reducing the distance between where the food is grown and where it is consumed. We believe that only by transforming our economy to that form can we deal with all of the problems that we face. And so I would invite you to look at our platform again, both our economic platform, which is about regional self-sufficiency, and our commitment to a different attitude toward farming and farmers.
That's great.
Yeah.
I will.
Good. And I invite everybody else that's watching this program to do the same, because food security is a very important thing for the Green Party, and it's very important that we make sure that we have a future farming cadre of young people that are in farming and have access to land. And we actually promote, at one point in time, about 60% of the people in Canada were engaged in farming in one way or another, either by value add or by actually working the land. And if we are going to have a sustainable future, we need to get back to that kind of percentage, that we know that food is next to water, and air is the most important thing that keeps us healthy. So thank you, Robin, and good luck in your masters. Good luck in your commitment to transforming farming in British Columbia, and good luck in creating a cooperative enterprise that has as its foundation the provision of healthy food for the people of this region.
Thanks.
Thanks.